first? Ladies. Who's first? Ladies. Who's first? Ladies. What time is it? It's time for the ladies. It's the ladies first Chit-Chat crew. Time for the ladies. It's the ladies first Chit-Chat crew. L-A-D-I-S, and we're up first. L-A-D-I-S, L-A-D-I-S, and we're up first. Speak what you want, unbossed. Speak what you want, unbossed. Speak what you want, unbossed. And we're up first. Unapologetically great. Unapologetically great. Unapologetically great. And we're up first. Yes, ladies. That's dope. Yes, ladies. That's dope. Yes, ladies. That's dope. And we're up first. It's time for the ladies. It's the ladies first Chit-Chat crew. Time for the ladies. It's the ladies first Chit-Chat crew. One time for the ladies in the house. Two time make the people swing the show. Lachelle, Chandra, Crystal with Nikki, on boss, and Nikki. L-A-D-I-S, and we're up first. L-A-D-I-S, L-A-D-I-S, and we're up first. What's up, y'all?
Good morning.
Happy Saturday, everybody. Welcome to the Ladies First Chit-Chat crew, where we honor the voice of the everyday woman. On the count of three, I want everybody to do their pre when we come in. 1, 2, 3. Dun 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 dun.
I wish I could see what you see.
I see y'all like this.
Yes.
And then this one is this is why I know we ready, because Shani was like, and Crystal like this, putting her ear, and Shelly like this. And I'm like, it just comes natural. You know, I don't think we think about it. I think it just happens. Hi, beautiful ladies in red.
Hello, gorgeous.
Y'all look good. Oh, I love this mug.
Love it.
I love this mug.
This is from a dear friend of mine from when I lived in Brooklyn. She makes these. I need to highlight her. I'm gonna
highlight her. Go ahead. Say a little something about her. I'm gonna grab my.
I can't tell a whole lot about her because we haven't seen each other a really long time. Her name is Therese Ross, and she started making these. I feel like she started making these after COVID, but she hand makes them. And what I was gonna do, y'all, I was gonna get her to make one of each of us, and then they're specialty and handcrafted, and they're an investment piece. So then I was like, I'll get one for each of them on their birthday, not all at once.
Hello.
No, if you know what I mean. But it's worth it. She hand makes every one of them, and it brings me a lot of joy.
It's beautiful.
And I'm doing this hair next week. So
yes.
I
love a good preview, honey.
I know. Chrissy, you had a good day yesterday. Shawnee, you had a good day. Shelly, you done had a good day. Y'all done had some good weeks, right? Real quick, y'all, Nikki on Boss is coming. You know, she's in Georgia supporting her beautiful daughter, so she will be here soon. How y'all I want to hear about, I know we usually got to get into the show, but I know y'all have had some good days and some exciting times. Can I just get a little nugget of what's going on? If you want to plead the fifth, it's okay.
Well, I'll go first because my week has not been good.
Good.
What?
I pride myself on being a clean pill of health and
Yes.
always having a clean bill of health and never really getting sick or whatever. But these little nasty little monsters got me.
They got you. They got you.
Yeah, me. And so I haven't felt bad. I just been really sluggish.
Okay.
And that's how you know I don't feel that well is if I'm like,
The energy's low.
what?
Okay, but wait a minute. So we need to give a preview on what we talk about when we're not on the show. Lachelle Yvette, can you tell Shawnee in your Mother Earth for Black History
I can't
Black
say what
History
I
Month?
normally say.
Black History Month.
Can you tell-
Wrap up Black History Month.
The ancestor remedy.
You want me to give the remedy of how you break
Yes.
a fever? Okay. This is the remedy of how you break a fever. Everybody pay attention. Okay. If you
But
ain't got no
I think I brought this on myself because I made her tell me how to do that.
you did, and your body was like, let's try it out.
Freaking the fever.
Your body was like, let's try it out. Okay, here's what you do. You get a brown paper bag. And before you say, where do you get those at?
Where you get a brown paper bag
First
at?
of all, every Dollar Tree sells them in a pack, and Trader Joe's has a brown paper bag. You take a brown paper bag, you cut out a strip about the width of your forehead, temple to temple. You soak it in vinegar. White vinegar is the best, but you can use apple cider. You soak that brown paper bag in vinegar. You take a bandana like Tupac bandana. You put the vinegar soaked brown paper bag in the bandana. You fold it up so like you're tying it around your head, not like overnight you go into bed, but literally fold it so that there's only one layer of the bandana between your forehead and that soaked brown paper bag. Tie it and leave it. The fever will come right out into that brown paper bag through your forehead. And when you take it off, leave it till it dries. When you take it off, you will see a round circle in the middle of that thing, and you can throw it away. Now, if the fever's still there, if you really up there and you really should be going to the emergency room, do it again. You can't do it too much, but it will break the fever. So there you go. From our pre-slavery days in Africa.
The ancestors remedy.
Amen.
I just want everybody to know that when the aunties get to going in their lane, I'd be like, what is this pre-slavery? What?
And it's true.
Can I
What
tell
is this
can I tell
remedy
you?
that you bringeth me of this pre-slavery?
Honey, I bringeth you. No need to put all of those over-the-counter drugs into your system, because long before Tylenol was a pup,
Right.
our ancestors was handling all of it.
This
No
is right.
vaccines. We ain't had nothing.
This
And
is right.
then-
So I mean, I did some of the remedy stuff, and I mean, like I said, I wasn't like, like but I was definitely very sluggish, and my girls had the nasty conjunctivitis in the eye, and so I was like, please don't catch me. So I've been dodging sick bullets like this.
That's why you tired.
You look good though. Look, you look good. I'm telling you.
Bless you.
You look
Bless your
great.
heart.
You look great. Nick, we know you in Georgia. This hair is popping, honey. I love it.
Oh my God, today has been a morning and I look like it. I'm sorry. I'm like struggling. I am sweating. It's nothing like coming to visit your kid and staying with them. And oh my God.
That's where I am.
I just don't have enough time. Well, your kid must have it together.
No, honey. My background has it together.
Yes.
Oh my God.
It's
I am like
virtual
literally
background.
sweating bullets. So I apologize. I thought I was ready, but my body is like, no, I'm not finished.
Well, you look beautiful, and please
Thank you.
give Jada our love and sending her good energy this weekend with her games. This is great. This is great. Crystal JG in the red coming to us with that. I was about to say with the bamboo earrings. we got some sparkles this morning.
Sparkles, Miss Sparkly, Miss Sparkly.
Sparkly.
I thought you would have a headband on, Lachelle. So that's why I was channeling my inner Lachelle. I was like, we'll have a headband on. But yeah, I attended an event last night that was really, really, really dope. It's called The Drip. It's a hip hop fashion show which honored 4 legacy designers. So it was Carl Kanai, Dapper Dan, April Walker, and Carl. Did I say Carl Kanai?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Carl Kanai?
I do.
And 4 emerging designers, and so hip hop legacy and hip hop new. And it was an incredible fashion show. The mayor of New York was there. Shirt Kings and some like really pivotal designers that were doing streetwear back in the 90s, 80s and 90s before big mainstream designers were doing it, were celebrated, and it was amazing. It was an amazing event. Lots of people come out, and I was saying to a friend of mine who was also there, you don't go out when you're in your 40s and up. You don't go out like you went out when you were in your 20s. So it's just good to see people that came to rally around, hip hop fashion. And New York is the hub for hip hop 50th anniversary, and so that was a really good thing. And then the Nas concert was last night, so a lot of people were doing that. There's an exhibit at FIT that's celebrating hip hop fashion as well. It ends at the end of April and is sold out because people want to reminisce on, like what fashion was and what hip hop was back then. So it's a really good year to be in New York. If you're nearby, there's a lot of great stuff coming up.
And Chrissy, let's just remind everybody it's the 50th year anniversary of hip hop, right? Yes, 50th anniversary of hip hop.
So there's celebration all year around all kinds of things, and it started with the Grammys performance. So you're gonna see a lot of that this year. I just know it. So
yeah,
it was funny when we were watching the Grammy performance. I remember we were all texting each other, and I remember I was texting Brittany. And Brittany was like, I know you know all the words, Nikki. I was like, oh, I forgot who I'm talking to. What my generation is.
You can't talk that. You can't talk. She came around with who? Look, Chandra. When y'all came around.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Listen, you know why I'm gonna do it?
Don't do it because I rocks hard with every artist that was on that.
Yeah, okay. But you did call. You did allude to an auntie reference, and I'm gonna come through this phone and get you. Don't be doing that.
Don't do that. We heard the tapes and y'all saw it live.
I'm gonna come and get you in 10 minutes.
I heard the tapes and y'all saw it.
Well, y'all heard the tapes. Yeah. I do, but before I get to Shelly, I do want to give a plug out to Lululemon. I know yesterday morning, Crystal was rocking her Lululemon from head to toe. I told Data, I was like, she had a Data jacket on. Yes.
I love Lululemon.
Yes.
Lululemon was in the building.
Yes. So Shelly, I know you had a good week.
Yes, I will make this short and sweet. I traveled to New York City to participate in a program with a company called 1863 Ventures and Goldman Sachs called 1 Million Black Women in Business. If you are a Black woman and you are starting a business, creating a business, have a business, struggling in your business, basically, if you got a business and you Black with a vagina, please go apply. It is a 100% free program. They flew 150 women. There's 150 women in each cohort, and they do 2 cohorts a year. They flew 150 women from around the country to New York to start off this 12-week program with an orientation where we got to not only meet each other, but everyone who will be teaching us, coaching us, mentoring us, and advising us. We get all of that, teachers, coaches, mentors, advisors. And we went through the framework, and honey, it is all the things that most people, but certainly people in underserved cultures, do not know about what actually makes a business successful. It don't matter if you're making cake pops or you building ships to go to the moon. This is the kind of information we rarely have access to. So please go apply. Just Google it. Goldman Sachs, 1 million women in business. It'll come right up. It's not a hard process, but the work, chill. But it's worth it. It's 12 weeks of your life that you won't get back, but you won't need it back because you will be a totally different person at the end. So that's what I came to New York for.
That sounds amazing.
That is, I've already, Shelly told us about it. I've already looked into it.
Please do it.
I wanted y'all to say what was going on this week, because the topic of our show, I guess I didn't say what I was doing. I do have to have a win real quick. And I'm really excited about this, Shelly, you were talking about. I did something this week that I've never done before. I asked for a sponsorship money, and I asked for an amount of money that I've never asked before.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked for it like I was saying I needed $10.
Yes, because that's all it is, really.
And I said it like, and had people on the phone, and I was like, da-da-da. And they were like, they didn't even flinch. They were like, boom.
No.
And I've gotten a mentor out of the whole process, who has supporting me in really asking for those dollars and really telling me this man doesn't really know me, but just really saying, just affirming me and how I asked and what I did and how to shift and stuff. And I was proud of myself, because usually I kind of shy away, or I kind of talk myself out of it, and I was bold. And I think it all started too. I was on a podcast with two of my Lululemon sisters, Deja Rowley and Alicia Ferguson, called Dose of Duality. You guys will hear about it. And to watch these young women, the way they were affirming me and talking to me, and it was like one of the first times I was like, that is me. That is me. I am that. And yes. And then the next day, it just gave me energy and encouragement to ask for what I want, and what we deserve. So I'm celebrating that win this morning, and I wanted to share it with you.
Thank you, friend.
Thank you. And I wanted to do that because today we are talking about taking back your narrative when people assume, when people assume that you're this or you're that. And I'm going to read it. I said, how do you feel when you are seen in a way that's not true, when there are other people keeping the narrative? And how do you navigate it? Do you allow people to tell the story they think they know? Or do you use your voice and take back or stand in your narrative? Let's chat about it. It was funny. I was listening to The Most this morning, and I heard Robert Hartwell podcast The Most. And Robert Hartwell said, the mission becomes greater than your thoughts about me. I was like, oh, he said the mission becomes greater than he was talking about how he used to consume himself with the narrative that people thought of him and the narrative that people would say, and it would upset him and just make him, and of course we're performers, so in front of everyone else he would be okay. But he said he got to a point at the end of 2022 that the mission becomes greater than your thoughts about me. And I texted him this morning and I said, I'm going to say that on the show today. So let's talk about it, y'all. Let's talk about it. We talked about it on Thursday. Let's get into it. Y'all ready? Oh, y'all quiet now? We quiet. We had a lot to say on Thursday.
Actually, I think that's I'm gonna write that down.
I'm gonna put it in the chat, Nick.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good way to look at things. Yeah, because you can't control everyone's opinion of you, how they're going to speak about you, how they're going to receive you. You know yourself what your intentions are and how you intend to deliver and how you intend to show up, but you can't control how everyone's going to see you. And I think for me, what Robert said is really something to live by, because there's a bigger picture and something greater that either needs to be addressed or achieved. And it's not just about your narrative. I've always placed a lot in my reputation and how I show up and the way I deliver and things of that nature. But the truth is, what he said, there's a bigger opportunity to be addressed beyond just your own, beyond what one person thinks of you. So I like that.
Yeah, I agree. It's something that I'm realizing and learning just as growing and maturing and navigating life is that your mission in life, your actual reason that you are here it has been written, right? It's there. It's been there. It's always been there. We're just trying to find it. However, the way to it it's still going to be that at the end of the road, that your mission, your goal, your reason for being here is still going to be the same at the end of the road. So getting there is what our whole life trajectory is, right? And I'm realizing, like, in my motion in life and getting into my end results, to getting to my passion driven things, getting to the reasons why I'm here, I've allowed people to slow that process, which only just makes me not walk in purpose for way, shorter period of time.
Say a little, wait, before you go on, say a little bit more about the people slowing your process.
Just in conversations, in opinions, in they're being scared of what may be in front of me, because I ask things in front of them, like, especially with family, parents, who haven't experienced life, who basically are just like telling because it's like scary to them. Those type of blocks. I was telling you guys on Thursday, Autumn and I were just talking about trimming off the fat of people who just don't serve you in your life. And a lot of times we have that notion, and we're so gung-ho about it with friends and colleagues and people who aren't really attached by blood, umbilical cord, all that kind of stuff. But when it gets to those people, those boundaries change, and we're like, oh, this is my mom. I can't cut my mom off. I can't, I can't tell my mom not to act like this towards me. And I'm like, them the main people. Them the main jokers that need to get told that,
because it matters what you care about what they think,
right?
Yeah, and their opinion. You it's particularly parents or someone that this person loves you, and they're not there. They may impart their fears upon you, but then it really is a hard space to be in, because it's almost like, what if they're right? What if I do get hurt? But it's like that. What if I fall? What if you fly?
Right. Yeah. I want to say two things, Chandra, based off of what you said, or also what Crystal was asking. I think when you were asking, how does it slow you down? The immediate thing that also came to my head is maybe you're doubling back, right? So rather than moving forward, you start doubling back. Maybe you want to change their mind, but their mind doesn't need to be changed, right? Like, you need to refocus. Like, that's not the focus.
I just with me specifically, I'm a very, like, y'all know, once I have something in my head, I'm like, I'm doing it, and don't tell me anything about it. Now, if someone that I love or have respect for, especially in their opinion about career, whatever, if they say something that could be altering, that's when I'm like, wait, what am I doing? What happened? What am I doing? Whatever. Versus just allowing people to just do, like, we're gonna make mistakes, and we're gonna fall and trip and or not. And a lot of times we don't figure out what that can be because we're already saying, oh, it can't be because this person said this person experienced it this way, so it can't, it's going to be that same way for me. And I'm all now really, especially I think when you are on your own, in a sense of like not having close family, not having, that many blocks around you physically, like those things get, it's more apparent to me that those were blocks.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like once I was away from home, once I was away from my immediate family, once I was like literally on my own and really making moves and decisions for me in my life, for me by myself, that's when I really understood like, is it me? Am am I the distraction? You haven't seen that thing where it goes,
Right.
or is it other people? And why am I allowing other people to slow me up? Like I don't. That's the bigger thing for me. Not
Well,
allowing.
real quick, someone who's watching us couldn't put a question in the chat box. And so they wanted to ask more about how do you deal with family who slow your being? How do you trim the fat?
Ooh.
Can I say that
You trim the fat.
I think the reason that we even all of us have been in this place and many of us are still in this place is there's for some reason, and I don't know who, you know how they say, I don't know who they is, right? But that for some reason, we as people believe that what we want, what the way we think, how we feel, what we're motivated to do, we believe that is supposed to match up with everyone around us. Like we think that, I if I put it in an example, I could be thinking that what I desire to do in life or a choice that I want to make is supposed to match what my mother thinks is a good choice or what my mother would do, or it's supposed to, at the very least, make the people I care about feel comfortable. The truth of the matter is, there's nowhere is it written that what you desire is supposed to match up with the people around you. Right? And we start out with that thought, well, if I do this, which if you start with if I do this, and then the next step is how will so and so, you're already off track, right? You're slowing yourself up before they even made a comment about what it is because you didn't even share it, right? But what I'm saying is that I think the basis of this is that I think if we start to recognize and understand, we are not meant to live our lives in a way that is synchronized with the people whose opinions we care about. And they're not meant to do it with us, right? If I want to jump out of planes and my sister wants to lay cement on the street and never come off the ground, that doesn't make her not my sister. That doesn't make her crazy or me crazy. It's just what she wants to do and what I want to do. It doesn't have to match up. It doesn't need a stamp of approval. Once you feel it, it's approved.
I love that. Once you feel it, it's
approved to do, right?
Once
I give you this example. Don't really mind the age thing, but just take the example for context. So when I was 16 years old, I had the opportunity to dance with Alvin Ailey, and I was full tuition to come to New York. I was living in California, full tuition to come to New York. Mind you, I graduated early, so I wasn't in school. I was just kind of like doing my own thing. I was just about to turn 17. And my mom was like, hell to the no. That's a hard no. And it was more so because of her fear of not knowing what was going to be happening in New York. She would be sending her 17-year-old there, essentially by herself. Like it was that whole thing. But my end result was I was going to be in New York anyway.
Yeah.
I was going to perform and be in New York. It just slowed down the process because if I would have come, I would have been hitting it right then and there. I probably wouldn't have came back at 17,
right.
You know? I didn't make it to New York until I was 27.
Right. But here's the thing. It was always meant for you. It was always in your soul, which is why it came to you at 16, right? What you desire comes to you. You make the choice of what to do when it shows up at your door. And often we don't answer the call because we're thinking about what others will say about us, the narrative they've written about us.
It's funny you say that, Shelly. I've been dealing with the narrative and the things that people say about you. I've been really having to shift that in my thinking. I know that I've made some mistakes. Like everyone, I've made some mistakes, and I have people in my life that still hold me to those mistakes. And even though I'm working very hard to be different and to be different, to do different, not to do different than to be, but to be different, to do different. Especially, I'm very open about my finances. And I feel like sometimes people still hold me in that space.
But how?
I
don't even understand that concept. How
like I'll say,
what does
I'll
that
say,
look like?
I'll say I'm doing this, and they will go back and go, but remember, you do this, or
Right.
and you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, yeah, I used to do that. Yeah, but you have to understand, I'm so used to you doing this, and I'm like,
you know why you're even.
I was about to say a choice word. That's why you gotta make sure you say right. But I was in a space, and I was like, yeah, but I'm doing.
The only reason you're even answering them is because somewhere in there you think you still have to line up with their thoughts about you.
Exactly. And
when you don't, you set them straight.
Yeah, and I started going. I talked to Melanie, my good girlfriend Melanie, and she said to me, Nick, just keep moving. Just keep letting your actions speak for you. Keep letting your actions speak for you. And she even admitted that she was one of those people that kind of was like, and then she says, but I see you just doing, and I'm so proud of you. But I was getting caught up in that. I was getting caught up in like angry. But what had happened was I'm doing this now, and it gets so.
I would almost wonder if that's your fear of it happening again.
Yeah, and
it starts with the belief in yourself. I mean, I've had people. Well, not people. I remember one particular instance where somebody, made a comment to me, and immediately, because I'm not in the same place of where they were thinking, my response set them immediately straight because I knew the ground that I was standing on. Right.
I think that's powerful. But just want to touch on the belief part of it from the beginning of the conversation. We were speaking of the belief that others have of us, possibly with a negative connotation, like don't do that, you'll get hurt, or don't go there, that you're too young, or that kind of thing. But sometimes people believe in you on the positive sense, right? And you got to believe that too. Because what I've experienced has also been people saying to me, you're here. And I'm like, okay. Not like, yes, I am, right? That belief piece is at the very center. And then there's a plus sign and a negative. And you have to be in a place. Do you believe that you are the culmination of the mistakes? Or is it without experiencing, and we don't have to do chapter and verse of what they are, but like since you mentioned the finance thing, Nikki, if there are things that will never happen to you again because of what you've learned about that. There's relationships, there's people you will never date again because of this particular one. So I believe that it comes from someplace way in your soul that you're like, maybe if it's a fear imparted upon you for a decision, maybe I am scared.
Yeah,
because you move different and you vibrate differently and you feel differently about said thing, regardless of who it is. Because Chandra, as a mother, I could see your mother being like, you are 16. And unless I'm going to leave here and go with you, you ain't going to New York at 16. Just period in the story, right? I can see that. I also know people whose parents, not to be tangential here, but I have friends who have told their kids, you're not going away to college because you ain't ready to go away at 18. I have a girlfriend that was like, you will go to the college here in Queens,
the JC,
live home, right?
Yeah.
And then when in your junior year, you're 20, because you ain't gonna, you ain't gonna waste all my money. You ain't gonna be, doing all that stuff. And that was the best choice because she knew her kid, and it may have been like, this is not the best thing for you, right? So with all of that said, you moving, I'm not, affirming your mother's decision, but I am saying moving to New York at 27. We're gonna get spiritual in a second. But 27, what were they looking for? They were looking for a position that you were there to fill in a snowstorm. You moved here.
That's right. She sure
right? At 16, I'm not saying that awful things would have happened, but you understand what I'm saying? It aligned specifically. So I love the fact that we can look at these things like, okay, how do I feel about my mother saying I can't go? Or do I feel like I'm as dope as they say I am, or do I not feel that? I think that's what I'm getting from this conversation, because it is our belief system in ourselves when these things come to us.
I guess I'm struggling because I'm thinking, why do we care?
That's exactly what I'm thinking.
That's because anybody care, and maybe
that's how y'all move. Y'all, the two, Nikki and Boss and Michelle, y'all move like that. Right. I move like I absolutely care, depending on who it is. You know what I'm saying? Or somewhere back here, I'm just like, is that?
And no judgment, right? No judgment. I want to clear that up.
I get it.
I think what I'm trying to share with you is nobody knows, like Nikki, I'll just take you. No one knows your complete story except for you. We're going to have people that come in your life that they don't mean you any harm, but they're afraid of you going back in that same place. They're going to be people that are come in your life and just not going to want to see you win, especially when they see you getting really, really close. Not because they don't like you, but just because they don't maybe want you to be better than them. They, like you're becoming something they want to be, or maybe they just don't believe it could really happen. So they're just trying to like keep you in your place. Speaking of which, there are people like that are in our lives too, right? They're limited in their growth and what they dream about, right? So our conversations seem to always come back to, it centers in us. If we spend so much time thinking about other people's opinions of us, we'll never make decisions that we ourselves stand in and we feel comfortable and strong in, because they're always based off of someone else's opinion.
It's I'm so glad you said that, Nikki, because I find myself writing in my journal sometimes, keep moving forward. I know you guys have heard me saying ignore the chatter. That's what I'm doing. Like,
I'm not saying it's easy.
Yeah, ignoring the chatter. And it's funny how you just said, and Shelly was saying too, why do we care? I'm getting to a point. I wish I could say that I don't care, but I am getting to a point in being like, this is going to be these people's opinion, and I'm going to keep moving.
Can I add something that I don't think a lot of us think about?
Yeah.
Also dangerous to care about what the people who are saying you're amazing. Because let me tell you the danger. I get that shit all the time. You're so amazing. You're so dope. Oh my God, what'd you just say? Blah, 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 blah. But most of the time, people are giving me what they believe about me, because if I keep doing that, it serves them. I change pathway. You can ask anyone in my family. I will change directions like the wind, because I go with what I'm feeling, right? And if I love hot dogs today, I'll never eat another one tomorrow, because now I'm on to salads, right? And you know what I'm saying? And so also, right, I think that people's opinions about our narratives are always rooted in what will service them around being connected to you, negative or positive. If I keep her in her place, then I'll feel more comfortable around her because I'm not doing anything for me. Or if I keep telling her she the dopest, she'll keep doing this, which means I'll get free tickets to the concert and I'll this, that, and the next thing. Right? People's opinions, positive or negative, whether they're trying to restrain you or push you forward. It's wonderful that people see great things in you and they want to say, that's amazing, keep going, keep going. But what happens when you internally are like, I don't want to go that way anymore? It's no one's saying you crap. Why? What's wrong with you? Why are you doing it? We're saying you're amazing. Go, go, go. But it's like, yeah, but I don't know what happened, but I woke up this morning and I don't want to do that ever again in my life. Like, been there, done that. But they're still cheering you on. Why? Because it is great and that people want to be around greatness, even if it makes them uncomfortable. And two, there's something about what you're doing, something about the narrative you're writing that benefits them, and they want to keep having those benefits.
Absolutely. I mean, especially in the service world, like y'all know, my wife is a barber, and that is her narrative every single day. They're like, "Oh my God, you're so amazing! You're so this, and you're the best and the greatest and the goat and da, 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 all this stuff." And the moment she was sick, they're like, "Wait, what happened? You're not coming to work?" I thought I was so great. I'm so great, and I can't take
I must be great enough to be off for a week.
Oh no.
And that, you know what, Lachelle, and to that point, you just said that, I was thinking it in itself can be limiting, right?
Exactly.
All that praise, right?
Even the greatness
you could be filling a void for someone in their life, right? But it's limiting you because you're hearing them say how great you are, and it's stopping you from pushing harder to where you need to or want to go.
100%.
And it really feels like the exact same scenario on the extreme of both sides. It can be limiting. What's the phrase that Shani used?
The goat.
No, not the goat. How it made her feel like initially you said it made you feel like not stuck, but you were people's beliefs make you feel like you were not moving forward because you couldn't make a decision.
I was stunted.
Yeah, like so. But either of those things, caring so much what people think can get you in this
no matter what they think.
No matter what they think, and that's the point. And when we talk about this, it really does go to how do you feel, because you might feel like, wow, I am perhaps strong, not stronger, Lachelle, but you know better or more. Something than I'm allowing myself to be. I know in here that I am doing that, and praise or affirmation gives you, not that you need a license, but gives you the push to say, like, I don't want to be scared anymore. And I talk about fear a lot because I'm transparent about the fact that sometimes things scare me and the unknown, right? And I might be like, let me stay here. It doesn't appear that way, but here I'm feeling that, right? By the same token, there's other stuff that I don't care anything about moving forward with. I'm not even thinking about. I forgot that I was scared about that maybe, but this I'm not scared about, right? So you can recognize when those things are when those feelings are different. Go ahead, Nikki. You about to bust.
No, it's the fear thing. It just came over me when you guys were saying, and Nikki and you talking about the word fear, and Sandra put something in the chat. It is fear. You know, I do want to move forward. Oh, I got a ping. Wait a minute, I got a ping. I do want to move forward. I want to move forward, and there are some times I'm like, but what I'm asking for the people who love me and care about me, but I also have to get to a point that I don't care. Continue to show me the grace. Give me a moment. Give me a moment. Give me a moment.
They don't have to though.
They don't
even go.
So that's the other part what I said, but I gotta continue not to care.
Yeah.
There is fear, but I do see myself moving forward.
You already have though.
I have this journal that Rebecca gave me, and I write in it like sometimes 2 or 3 times a day. And I literally feel and see myself going forward. And when someone says something to me that's going to take me backwards, I'm in a space where I really have to ignore the chatter because I don't put that on me. Do y'all watch do y'all watch Talladega Nights? He said, "Don't put that on me, Ricky Bobby. Don't put that on me, Ricky Bobby. Let me move forward. I'm moving forward." And
But
so
here's the thing. Here's the thing. And you made a reference. You didn't even subliminal, right? You were doing this. That moving forward, Nikki on Boss said it. It comes here.
yeah,
You then answer. She said it. She said it. Go back and watch. Look,
Go back and watch.
We're gonna go watch the tape.
Watch the tape.
She said it. She said it. She said her response was it whatever the response is, then the response coming from here checked that person to say, you know, this is not something I'm allowing you to. I have moved on.
Right. So I don't know your story. What is said to the person is, I don't know your story.
You can't ask grace. You can't this.
None of that.
You can't any of this.
None of that.
Right. And that goes to where I'd like to see us go.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about feelings, how we feel in a situation. We've talked about intentions in different situations of people, things, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd like to hear our thoughts around what do we do about it? Like, what are some of our thoughts of how we address it? So I think the first phase of all of this is acknowledging, in my opinion anyway, it has to start grounded within you.
Mm-hmm. So for that, wait, stop right there, right? Just because I think it's connected to what Nikki was just experiencing. Grounding is good because I think you will see certain things you feel grounded about and certain things you don't.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Certainly.
And we have to acknowledge that because it really feels different when you unabashedly know how you feel about something and something else I don't really know.
This is one of the steps Nikki's asking about, right?
Side note. Sandra, can you write these down for us? You're so good at this.
What you just said about the grounding, because Nikki just said, what do we do about it? And you said, you know it feels grounded and you know it does not.
Mm-hmm.
My suggestion of a step to take in this is when it feels grounded, you go with that. Whether people are naysayers or cheering you on, none of that matters.
Mm-hmm.
When you don't feel grounded, whether someone's naysaying you or cheering you on, you do not go with what does not feel grounded. Even if everyone you know is like, yes, if that don't feel grounded, you don't do it.
Mm-hmm. I needed to hear that in 2022, Shelly.
Because it goes beyond the situation or the circumstance.
Yes.
When I'm speaking of grounded, I mean grounded in what I've talked about in the past, in your truths, your beliefs, how you operate, the way you give grace, the way you don't give grace. It all goes back to how you can live with you.
Right.
Okay. Once you know how you feel about a situation and situations are presented to you, you should make decisions based off of how you can live within whatever decision you make about that situation.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the grounding comes from. Okay. So when you have a good, or you try to zone in and maintain a good balance and sense of self, it helps you to make the best and smarter decisions for yourself, no matter what the situation is. So when someone's trying to change your narrative, and this is where I do want y'all to chime in, because I'm still thinking through this. I've had situations, and I've shared with y'all work situations where I've taken back my narrative in the sense of I've gone on a brand me, is what I call a campaign, right? And I will share everything that other people say about me so that it talks for me, right? When you're in family situations where people are, making, maybe have opinion about decisions you've made, that is very hard, right? Or things you've done, or things they're trying to say you do. What are some of our thoughts in terms of how you maneuver around that? I still think it's staying centered in who you are and maintaining that truth in the way you move and the truth will come out. And whether or not somebody wants to see it, if they don't want to see it, then they'll move out of your way, out of your space. Because when you're winning and people don't want to see you win and they can't stop you, they leave.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But it's the point, they may leave, but sometimes we go asking for them to come back. And so that's the thing. It's like when I'm saying trim the fat, I mean allowing people to go out of your life, family, friends, or indifferent, and letting them go, like literally letting them go, and allowing yourself to be able to move and not feel like you're missing them or that opinion or that, you know, whatever it was that they were bringing. You have to be okay with letting go, and it isn't easy. Let me say that out loud. It ain't easy to let someone go that has had a strong presence in your life in any facet, or not.
What you said, Nikki, you were like, again, the family, right? The people closest to you. I think when you're younger, like in Chandra's example, with her being 16 and her mama saying no was no, right? She was 16, like mama fed her, right? And then it came back around at 27 where she didn't need her mom to help her make that decision and she could do it. But I think when you're in a situation where you are literally your existence is reliant on someone else, right? It happens when you're younger. You know what I'm saying? You're a kid. But when you find yourself as an adult and you are in a position where your existence, someone wrote like, he pays the rent and takes care of my dog, right? When you're living like that, and congratulations, the person's moving out April 14th, you are letting someone else write your narrative. You are not grounded in what you want. And I think that it feels hard with family or good friends that we care about because it's because of how we feel about them. It's because we love them or we think they're special or we like being around. It's not how we feel about them that makes us double back and second guess. Well, should I do this? Because I know my mama won't like it, but I love her and I like being around her and I want Thanksgivings to be fun like they always are. And what we
hold you back.
Exactly. We start like compromising because we feel like, well, if I do this thing, I know I want to do, I feel my narrative, right? And I know I want to do it. It might upset, ruffle the feathers of hurt, whatever, someone else. And then, do I want to not have that person around? The truth of the matter is, and we talked about this on a previous show, nobody really wants to be around anybody who's not really being themselves.
Say it again. They do not want to be around you.
So yes, you know what? Me agreeing. Listen, when I moved to North Carolina, the first place I showed my mama that was an option for her to live was across the street from where I live now. And she said, "This is nice." And I said, "I like that over there, but if you want to stay here, you got it, and I will go somewhere else." She was like, "You don't want to live next to me?" I said, "No. I've been living next to you for 25 years, and then 20 before that, I was living with you. I'm done. We good. I can get to you." No, right? And so, and I think she took some offense to that. And she has.
What you think?
Sorry, Murdy. We sorry, Murdy.
But I gave her, because how I feel about her, I gave her the grace to have her feelings about me being me. And
can you talk a little bit more about something you were talking about? Because actually, I saw another message around this. When you start to take back your narrative,
yes,
right? People don't like it.
No.
Sometimes it makes them angry.
Yes.
Right? Huh?
No, keep talking. No, I'm just talking to.
No, I mean, like it makes them angry.
Yes.
There was a couple of things that you said, and I guess maybe it could go back to why should you, don't let you caring about their feelings stop you from doing what you're doing.
Right.
But the fact is, you feel it and you see it.
Yes. And then if you want to be rooted in who you are, if you want to follow what feels grounded to you, you have to become comfortable with feeling and seeing people being uncomfortable with you.
And
Yeah.
That's it. This
that's
still
it.
all goes back to us.
Mhm.
I'm uncomfortable with you being uncomfortable with me.
You know,
And this goes back to
my
all those
thing
other
is,
shows we did.
you know what my
Taking
thing
care of
is?
yourself, exploring yourself, finding out what you like, finding out what makes you happy, finding space, creating space for you, right? Like it all goes back for that because we allow people to take from us all the time. And they take so much that there's no space for us. We can't fit in, right? So if you're doing this and you're taking back your narrative, then very possibly they're not used to you wanting to own or owning a bigger share of the pie. But you know what? You're entitled.
The whole pie is yours.
Yes. What's hitting me, y'all, with what y'all saying? I think I know with myself sometimes I'm in a space where I have messed up some things or done some things before, and I feel myself going right, and I want the people to be proud of me instead of reminding me what I used to do. But what I have to do is be proud of myself. Like I was proud of myself this week.
You also have to do the thing. They can't be proud of you until you do it. And we get so stuck in not doing it because we want them to be proud of us on our way to doing it differently.
Right.
And they
not only that, you have to stop talking about all that you've done.
Well, the thing about it was
putting yourself hostage to the mistakes, or first of all, nothing is a mistake.
Right.
All right. Everything is an opportunity.
Yep.
Right. And the more you or anybody doing this, you are the first person that is actually holding yourself hostage to your past. Anything you're connected to in the past. You have to choose to let it go for yourself. And you don't necessarily have to make it be successful to help you remove yourself from doing that. But doing it will make you feel successful, if that makes sense.
I love that. But this is my thing. This is my thing though, Nikki. I receive all of that. Thank you. And I needed to hear that because I find myself, I used to always talk about it. I find myself lately not talking at all and just doing. And I think what upset me last week was I'm doing. I'm not even talking. Why am I caring what this person is saying or thinking or whatever? My old habit. Exactly. My old habit. And I'm like, it was funny. Mel was saying, Nikki, your actions lately have been so, moving forward. Like she didn't know anything that was going on with me. She just saw some things that I was doing. And I find myself, because y'all know me, I would talk about it all day. Let's talk. But I find myself being very action forward. But what I still get to work on is not caring about what is here and staying forward and staying focused about that and keep doing like Nikki's saying and less talk. So I received that, Nikki. Thank you.
Can I say this?
I want to be really clear because you have to release yourself from validation.
Yes.
But yeah, that's the care part. That's the care part, right? That's the care part.
It comes back to, and I want to be like, I said, why do you care? Like that, maybe that's not so nice. But the point is, if you're rooted in why you make a decision, no one can ever challenge it, even if it was the wrong decision to them. Right. Even if somebody wants to look at you and be like, I don't know why she's doing that. I wouldn't do it. You did it for a certain reason. And the reason why you did it, as long as you can live with that, that's how you make a decision. And that's how you don't hold yourself hostage. I can look back at every decision I made and I can tell you why I did it. I don't have to tell you why, but I can. And you don't have to understand.
That's correct.
As long as I can walk in my truth and stand behind my decisions, I don't need your validation. I don't need your guidance. I might want to talk to you in thought partnership, just like thinking out loud, sharing with you as a friend. But the truth is, the decisions I'm going to make, it's not that I'm dismissing your opinion. It's that I'm going to make a decision that I can live with, and I'm going to make it in the time frame that I can make it. You cannot live a life of validation, the need for validation.
But we say that, but do we do it? That's my thing. We say
It
it.
is hard. That's very hard.
Say
The thing you
There's
just said,
some situations where it's not as easy, right? You take
Sure.
work, you work 9 to 5, you get a job. I think that's a space that we have to be creative, right? And maybe it's comes to Lachelle, like you've talked about, maybe that's not the space you belong in. You have to put yourself in a different space, surround yourself with the right people.
Mhm.
But when we're talking about personal situations, when we're talking about your own personal growth, when we're talking about stopping from being your best self, no one can take that away from you, and no one can write that narrative for you.
Right.
That's your narrative to tell. Every day opens a new chapter, a new page in the book.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You don't have to like my story.
No.
You don't have to make
and
the same
You don't
decisions.
have to read it.
You don't have to read it.
You don't have to
You don't have to like my story, and
You don't have to read my story.
You don't have to like my story. You don't have to read it. What I want to challenge us, I don't want to say the word challenge. What I want to empower us to do, and maybe I'm talking to myself, what we're saying right here, I want us to do it. Okay, we know Shelly do it. We know she do it. But what we're saying right here, I want us to do it. The stuff you're saying, Nikki, I am receiving.
do it.
I get to do it.
There's so many things in my life, I do it.
No, what up? I have to be honest with you. There are a lot of things that I say in my life. Majority of them I do. And there are some of them that I get to work on to keep doing. I'm gonna be transparent about that. A lot of shit I say, I do. But there are some things that I get to work on to keep doing. And I thank y'all for sharing what you're saying, because it's enlightening from Mishani starting to what Nikki just said. It's enlightening me and empowering me to keep moving forward, to stop. I don't want to say stop looking for the validation, or stop caring about the validation. Stop caring about the validation.
Or what Nikki said, which I think is a very quotable moment, to not be hostage to validation.
I love that, to not be hostage.
There's one other thing. I was listening to you, and I know the things that you're doing. So, and this is not speaking to you, but it's also speaking in general. I think sometimes we blur the lines between decisions we make personally, who we are personally, and things we're trying to do. Okay? We're always going to be afraid to leap, we're always going to be scared, whether it's business ventures and stuff like that, but we can't mix that up with the feelings and thoughts around us as a person. I want to be clear on that, because the sense of validation and all that kind of stuff that I'm talking about, that all is supporting you as a person. You could use the same talk track, right, to help you leap and do in another career, or maybe be an successful entrepreneur. And that's a whole talk track in itself, but I think you can use the same things we're talking about there. But it still also starts with you, because the more confident of an individual you are, and don't let anybody take away your shine as a person, never compromise who you are, despite what anybody says. That's all the stuff that you're going to use to feed into everything else you're trying to do.
Right.
Yeah.
I love that. I really
want to be clear. How you feel as a person, you have to deal with that, because that's how it's going to feed into the things you're trying to do. And I'm really thinking out loud here. There's one thing, and I've had my own situations more with work, right? I'm a very strong personality or whatever. And, some people take it well, other people may be intimidated by it. And they create their own narrative behind it. One thing they can't shake is the narrative of who I know I am. I don't need their validation. I'm more so angry if it impacts me in a way that maybe they're sitting at a different level or a different stage that I am, and it blocks me, right? I have to then regroup, but it never once challenges or makes me rethink who I am. Now, I'll also say this. Even though I might think I am opposite of what they are saying, I will look at every situation to see if there's something I can learn about it. Learn from me. All right. What do I want to take out to, because there's going to be more of those people out there. But it starts with the feelings of how you feel about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Correct.
everything that gets fed into everything you want to do. So don't, first deal with how you feel of the judgment of you personally. Get grounded in that.
Mm-hmm.
Be comfortable with the decisions you make and even the decisions that don't go right, because that is your learning experience to be better the next time.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has a different journey of how many times they need to have opportunities to get them in the right place of where they need to be.
That's a fact.
I love all of that. And something you said that clicked to me as feedback. You said, I forgot exactly what you said. And I looked at that as feedback. I forgot exactly what you said. It was good, Nick. I was reading something that a good friend of Shelley sent something. I want to read it. It says, it's important to be able to recognize when someone is intentionally or unintentionally looking to change your narrative versus refine your narrative. Being grounded can block and jade your vision. Wow.
Read that last sentence again.
Being too grounded can block and jade your vision.
So that goes back to what you were just trying to recapture that Nikki just said about when people's thoughts or comments or narrative about you is different than what you believe to be true about your narrative. She takes that in and reflects on it to see if there's something she can learn. She doesn't sit so grounded in her narrative that no other information could come in that may be an opportunity for her to learn. And that's what that last sentence says, right? If you're so grounded that you can't hear anything,
right,
then you won't take on some reflection to learn what you want to develop and grow and tweak in your own narrative. But you don't want to be so open to everybody else's opinion of you or story writing about you that you're not involved in writing your own story at all.
Right. It's I like this topic hits me perfectly. I was talking to my friend, I know we got to wrap up, Chris Morgan, about this, and he was like, Nikki, this people been trying to do a narrative all your life and you just keep on moving. And that is true. We just get to keep on moving. People want, I mean, Nikki said it perfectly. People are going to always have a narrative and a story, and it may be because they're uncomfortable about where they are in their lives. They're uncomfortable, or they might be holding you hostage to what they do know of you. But we get to keep on moving, and we get to not be hostage to the validation, as Nikki Unboss said.
Amen.
We can keep talking about this. This has been an amazing conversation. Thank you to our viewers. I want to shout out Sandra. Sandra, thank you for keeping the notes. I'm gonna have to talk to you. We might need you for next week,
honey.
We might need you for next week for something 2 weeks that we got going on. And thank you to the men that are on, that are giving their input. I love it. And let's shout out little Alec right here. How you doing, baby girl? Y'all continue to follow us, continue to tap into us. If you are on Instagram, please go to Instagram. Please follow us at the Ladies First Chit-Chat Crew.com. Go follow us, tell a friend. I want y'all to really, really follow us and say some comments, because some things are happening in the next quarter. And the Ladies First Chit-Chat Crew, we are evolving, and you're coming right with us. And I want y'all to be able to say that y'all were on the ground floor when we first started. When we first started all the things that we are talking about. Thank you, everybody, for tapping with us today. I just want to look, I'm going to be selfish and repeat what Nikki Unboss said for me. To not be hostage to validation.
That's right.
Have an amazing day, everybody. And we will see y'all soon. Bye.
Who's first? Ladies. Who's first? Ladies. Who's Unapologetically great. Unapologetically great. Unapologetically great.
And we're up first. Yes, ladies.
That's dope.
Yes, ladies.
That's dope.
Yes, ladies.
That's dope.
And we're up first. It's time for the ladies. It's the ladies first chit-chat crew. Time for the ladies. It's the ladies first chit-chat crew.
One time for the ladies in the house. Two time make the people scream and shout. Lachelle, Shonda, Crystal with Nikki on Boss and Nikki.
L-A-D-I-S, and we're up first. L-A-D-I-S, and we're up first.
Bye, y'all. See you later.